What's up, Glads Nation? Welcome into another episode of the Atlanta Gladiators podcast. I'm Guy Carenza with head coach Matt Ginn. Matt, thank you for joining me so much here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And it's been a fantastic season, certainly been a treat to watch. Congratulations on punching your ticket to the postseason. We'll see the Stingrays coming up soon here. And, it's interesting that you've pretty much known that you're going to play South Carolina for a month now mathematically, but it feels like the last 2 months, these two teams have been destined to meet each other. So I'm curious to get your mindset on what it's like to know that you're going to see that opponent for so long in the opening round.
Yeah, I mean, we at the start, we're still trying to trace Florida down and had probably a little bit of a dip in our game performance-wise. A little inconsistency crept in and maybe a little expected just because once Florida kind of got out of our reach, I guess, little maybe drop off, but we've just kind of preached that we don't want to have to just turn it on come playoffs. And results aside, the last couple weeks we've wanted to play kind of back to our identity and our strength, and have a lot of guys banged up right now, and not an excuse. I mean, I think across the league that's probably the norm here, and just kind of finding the right chemistry, the right mix up front and on the back end there, and we're excited for the challenge. I mean, I have a lot of respect for South Carolina, the team this year, and the organization. Them in Florida are kind of the benchmark for where we want to go. You touched on it there. It's been a great season for us, and that was our first goal, was to make the playoffs, and I think that should be the goal every season at the minimum. But we don't want to be just satisfied with getting into the playoffs. We want to go on a run, and it's going to be tough to get out of the South. I mean, you have probably 3 of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league in the South, and we're excited for the challenge. I mean, South Carolina, like I said, have a lot of respect for them and the coaching staff there and the team that they have, and it's been a really tight series all season. I think we're kind of split down the middle, and a lot of 1-goal games, so it's going to be a battle, and we're looking forward to it.
And kudos to you guys. I mean, as you mentioned before, Florida, South Carolina, seems like those are perennial playoff teams. You guys are right there with them this year, so it should make for an exciting mix in the South Division in the postseason. I think it's just interesting. You mentioned identity and really the strengths of your team. We're 71 games in. What do you believe that identity is and your greatest strengths are?
I think we're just hard to play against when we're playing well. I've talked to other coaches and teams around the league, and they all kind of echo the same thing, that we're a hard team to play against. We're defensively very solid. I think that's an area that we've maybe got away from a little bit the last month or so, and some of that is personnel changes. We've had some important D drop down and get kind of hit with the injury bug back there and stuff, and guys have stepped in and done a good job, but it'll be nice to kind of hopefully welcome some familiar faces back into the lineup. But I think as a whole, just kind of our play off the puck, and will be more maybe lulls in our game from even period to period where we're not quite as consistent or as sharp as we need to be. And guys have played a lot of hockey. We've given them some rest here to start this week and get away and have some fun. I mean, we did a team golf outing the one day too. So I think that's important to kind of reset a little bit before this weekend and playoffs as well. But I think when we're kind of going back to your question, when we're at our best, we're a smothering team. We don't give up too much. We have great goaltending. We're solid on the back end. And it's not just the D and the goalies. It's forwards being responsible on the defensive side of the puck and being opportunistic. I think we've struggled at times here lately to put the puck in the net too. But again, it's going to be hard to score come playoffs. You have to get probably a little greasy, and that's been an emphasis of ours too, is getting to the net and being harder to play against in front of our net. So kind of a long-winded answer for you to get back to it. I think we're just, when we're at our best, we're in your face, we're smothering, we're skating, good details in our game, and taking care of our end of the ice first and foremost.
Yeah, you mentioned that smothering aspect and that style of play. Something that's really impressed me has been the forecheck, especially the bottom 6 so far this year. I mean, it starts with a guy like Louis Boudon. He starts the year here. Got Carson Denemy, who's played in all 71 games. I thought Ethan Scardina has done well. A couple of others. Really, what has impressed you about this forecheck? And do you think that's going to play a factor in a series against South Carolina that could end up going 7 games?
Absolutely. You want to wear down teams. We talk about that all the time. You might not reap the rewards in the first period of games or even game 1 of the series, but we fully anticipate a long series here against these guys, and we want to wear their D down. They have some D that are active that jump up into the play and complement the rush really well. And if you're physical on those guys, it wears you down after a few games. So that's been a strength of ours all year, is getting in on the forecheck. And it's just hard work. I mean, we have our structure and our system and all that, but it's guys having good sticks, being physical, reloading above. And I think, like you said, when we're on it, we're a good forechecking team and make it tough for teams to break out of their zone. Obviously, we want to limit speed against us, and that's a big way to do that as well, is make teams come back and have to stop in their D zone and kind of wear them out down there so they don't have the legs to jump on the offensive side of things.
And it's interesting, you touched on the first period there. For whatever reason, not sure why, the first period is your lowest scoring period, but things leap up in the second to what I've coined the second period surge. What is your perspective on that? Is that just something that kind of goes into that play style where you kind of heat up for a full 60 minutes? I mean, it's so tough to stay consistent through a full 60. I just want to get your perspective on that and why that might be the case.
Yeah, it probably depends game to game. Some games we do start slow, and some games have a good first period. You're not always rewarded. I wouldn't say a quick strike offense, more kind of wear you down team. And I think when you have teams on their heels and you're physical and finish on them, that kind of creates momentum that, again, you might reap the rewards later on in games as opposed to early. But we want to be relentless. We want to be on teams, and it would be nice to score early and often, but it's not always how it plays out. And the important thing too, I think, especially the first maybe 3 quarters of the year, we weren't giving up goals in the first period either. I think that goes a long way. You come back into the second and kind of a fresh slate there. And so, yeah, we don't want to change how we play from period to period. Obviously, every coach wants a full 60. There's going to be ups and downs in games, and it's just kind of sticking with what works for us and getting on teams right away.
Yeah, and on the flip side, as you mentioned, you are one of the best defensive teams in the ECHL. And, I personally believe that since training camp, it starts with the 2 goaltenders, kind of flows from there with the defense and the structure. How impressive have these 2 goalies been this season, Ethan Heider and TJ Semptenfelter? And for you, as a former goalie, what has stood out to you about their game and has led to them to excel this season?
I mean, they've both been outstanding. Both of them, we're lucky and fortunate to have two bona fide number 1 goalies right now, and whoever's in the net gives the team and the guys and the coaching staff a ton of confidence that they can steal a game, they'll keep us in games, and they've done that all year. I think that is contagious and lets guys play not freer, but not worried if it's a game of mistakes, they happen, and they're not always going to end up in the back of our net. So I think from a mental side of things, it's huge. And yeah, I think guys that really, they're the backbone of the team, and it bleeds into how we play. We preach right from day one at training camp, and even before that we want to build a team from the net out and the back end out, because you're not going to win games consistently all year, 7-6, 7-5, any of that stuff. Like goals are hard to come by, especially in the South. You got Florida, South Carolina, all really teams across the board that defend well, and we know for us to have prolonged success and be consistent, that have to take care of our end first and foremost. And guys bought in. I mean, defense is hard work. Kind of bottom line there. You can have your structure, and I think we are pretty detailed and in our structure, especially on the back end, and done a great job that way. But it's just kind of the buy-in from the group that they understand that's our identity, and we're a team that's deep. I don't know if we have a top 10, top 15 scorer in the league, but we have a lot of depth that I think will be important going forward.
And one more thing to touch on with those 2 goalies, it is a luxury to have 2, really a 1A, 1B situation. Can we expect these 2 goaltenders to play on a rotational basis in the playoffs like they have been in the regular season, or does it kind of depend on where you're at in the series, where if you would go to 1 as a number 1? Just curious with your thoughts on that.
Yeah, without giving too much away, we have full confidence in both of them, and I fully expect they both will play and play a huge part for us. Like I said, we have full confidence in both of them. They're a huge part of our team back there, and I think they feed well off each other too. They push each other, but they're very supportive, and it's been a pleasure to work with them both this year.
And kind of just flowing from the net out, the defense has been phenomenal as well, and Chad Nychuk has really been a staple for this team on the back end. Had a monster year for you guys. I mean, set a new Gladiators single season high with 45 assists this year to this point. Really been excelling in a bunch of different ways, was named to the ECHL first team as well. What can you say about his game, and how much has it been a help to have him on the back end this year?
Chucky's been great. I mean, he's a premier D in this league. I think he probably deserves to be up in the American League, but we're not going to complain about that. It's nice to have him. I think he's just a really solid player all around. The offensive numbers are nice, but he's out there. He plays, I don't know, 25 minutes a night, and I think you see the last few weeks there, he's been battling some stuff, and he has been kind of in and out of the lineup, and I think you see how much we miss him when he is gone, but he's great. He defends hard, he moves pucks, he moves his feet, and kind of a jack of all trade for us. And obviously, like you said, the offensive side of things, he's a big part of our offensive group as well. So it's nice to have him back there. He's a great guy and great teammate too. He fits in seamlessly with the group, and has kind of a quiet calmness about him. He makes the right play and makes some high-end plays as well that you don't always expect, but he's been outstanding, and I think that just kind of bleeds through the team, that calming presence, and just obviously his ability too, but his quiet leadership, and he's been outstanding for us.
And I think something that kind of gets lost when you have a guy that has a monster season like that in terms of numbers is really the way that the team plays defensively around and with a guy like that. I'm talking about guys like Ryan Conroy, Brendan Less, just to name a few, Andrew Jarvis. This team blocks a lot of shots. I don't have an exact metric on that, but you guys eat a lot of shots on the back end. How is that something that you were able to kind of preach to this group, or is that something that they naturally all have as a part of their game that you were looking for when signing these guys over the course of the summer? Just curious to kind of figure out how that kind of developed and got to this point.
A little bit of both. Obviously, we talk about blocking shots, but it's guys just accepting the roles that they have. Can't have six kind of offensive-minded defensemen. We came in with wanting a good mix, and I think they complement each other really well. We have guys who take pride in killing penalties and knowing that they might not get the offensive looks, but have done a great job on both sides of the puck. And we want guys that are can contribute on both ends, and I think we do have a good mix. You name Connie, Jarvie, Lesser. Carbs obviously has battled some injuries this year, but guys that have been around the league, they have experience, they understand what it takes to win, and again, a little bit older of a decor in that sense that they've been around, but we have some young guys as well that have really complemented them nicely, and we have a lot of confidence in our group back there. Like I said, hopefully get some good news on the injury front here going forward, and but whoever's in back there, we know they're going to do a job, and we wanted to create some depth among our group, and I think we've done that. So they've done a great job back there, and really through the lineup of guys accepting their roles and knowing their strengths and kind of what we expect of them going forward, and I think that's a big reason for our success up to this point.
And you mentioned that word depth a couple of times so far here today. I think where this team is at is interesting because it started where you're finding a bunch of these rookies to come in, which is typical at this time of the year. First, tell me about really what goes into the scouting process to find these rookies mid-season and how they've been able to just kind of inject themselves into this team and perform like they've been here all year long.
Yeah, I think from the kind of injecting them into the room and stuff, I think it's been seamless. That speaks to our leadership group and just the type of characters that we have on the team, very welcoming, and it helps obviously how you play when you feel comfortable and part of the group, and I think that goes a long way. So we obviously will watch players, and if we like what we see, we do a lot of kind of background stuff on their character, and we did that this summer too. I mean, you're not all the time going to lure someone, if it's between you guys in Florida, where they come, and that's where we want to get to. Is we want to make Atlanta a destination spot where guys want to come play, and I think that's one thing I've noticed this year, especially the year gone on. We've done that. Guys want to come here, they want to play and be a part of hopefully something special here. So that's kind of the first step of it there, and we want to play fast, so we like guys who can skate and make plays and under pressure and play with pace. And again, not asking guys to do anything out of their comfort zone here. We bring everybody in for a reason, and we're very upfront with what we expect and where areas we think they can contribute. And they've done a great job so far for us.
Yeah, and certainly to your point, seems like this has become a destination spot for not just rookies, but also veterans to come in as well. And big credit to you and Zach Fennell for making it that way. Brett Bulmer, Eric Neely, Cody Sylvester, seems like that is your trio of veteran leadership on this team. Bulmer and Neely coming in over just the last 5 games now. So what kind of help does that bring to kind of pair with these rookies as you look to go on a deep run?
Yeah, I think it speaks to kind of the season we've had, and where we want to bring in complementary pieces to hopefully push us over the top. You look at the trade deadline; it was kind of quiet across the league, but we were able to make some moves and bring in guys to kind of hopefully give us that extra boost. Guys who have been around. I mean, you look on paper going into the season, pretty young team compared to some of them. So wanted to add a little bit of veteran leadership, some guys that play a heavier game. Obviously, you have South Carolina first round. They're a physical team, and so are we. But we wanted to add to that and kind of bring in some guys that complement that and the calming presence, guys who have been through it. And I think Balms and Neals both obviously fit that bill. And again, great people, great teammates, and they fit in really well. And we're going to have some tough decisions here with the playoff roster and the rules and all that stuff. But on the flip side, it is a good problem to have. But no, I think we put ourselves in a good position going into the trade line, and we wanted to add to the group and help to hopefully kind of, like I said, push us over the edge.
And, it's interesting because those acquisitions, those additions were just signings. So you didn't actually give up anything to bring those guys in, which I think has also got to be a tremendous help to you. But a guy that's been here all year long has been Cody Sylvester. He's been the team's captain. How much has his leadership helped you get to this point?
It's been huge. I mean, he's been here. Atlanta's his home now. He's been here for however many years. But again, a quiet, calming presence. When he speaks, it's important, and guys listen. And he's been a great extension of the coaching staff that way. And I think he's playing some really good hockey right now. He's obviously getting a little bit older, but he's still a great player. He can put the puck in the net. But I think just his 200-foot game has been very good, and the leadership, again, can't speak enough about that. It sucks to see him retire after this year, but I've told him and his wife like one more year a few times now. I don't know if it's landed, but no, he's done a great job. Guys want to win for him, and kind of sending him out on top here, but he's done a great job. I think we have a good mix of leadership groups, not only the guys wearing letters, but the other guys as well, of speaking up, a good mix of guys who talk a lot, some who kind of more of a lead by example type. And I think it's important to have both, and he's done a great job for us.
Is there kind of a rally behind that to kind of just win one for Cody before it's all said and done? Is that kind of a team mentality mindset going in?
Probably a little bit. We haven't spoken about that, but I think the group's been focused all year on that. I think I said it earlier in the year, like going into the season, no one probably had Atlanta picked to even be a playoff team, and going off the last few years, like you can't really blame them. So but nothing. The expectation, the standard in our dressing room hasn't changed from day one. We talked about wanting to create a winning culture and a team that wins. It was nice to make the playoffs. Like I said, that's the first step in where we want to go. And but we're not just satisfied with that. We want to go on a run, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. We're playing a couple. If we get through South Carolina, hopefully we'll play another great team coming out of that. So it's going to be tough. It's always tough to come out of the South, and but I think we've shown that we can play with all the teams in our division throughout the season. So guys have just been focused on that, and I think we've done a really good job of staying even keeled through the year. The ups and downs, we're not really riding that emotional roller coaster. It's too long of a year to do that, but win, lose, or draw, we've come back to work and the next week, and guys have really embraced that. And I think it is a very driven group, and don't have to talk a whole bunch about where we want to go or where our focus should be. It's just known in that room. And again, that's a credit to the leadership group that we have.
And, I mean, to your point, I think at the beginning of the season, I don't think a lot of people had the Atlanta Gladiators pegged as a playoff team. This is a team that has only made the playoffs twice since their last playoff win back in 2013. Do you consider yourselves underdogs? And if you do, if anybody else does, do you think that gives you a bit of an advantage in the playoffs?
In our room, no. We don't. I think we've shown all year that we're a good team, and we're really confident in our group. we don't pay a ton of attention to any outside noise or anything like that. Probably looked at as a bit of an underdog from outsiders, and that's mainly because, like I said, it's South Carolina and Florida every year, and kudos to them for building those programs like they have. I was fortunate enough actually to play in Florida out of college years ago, and it was the same back then. It was great kind of winning culture. Now Ralphie there has done a great job with them, and but yeah, kind of back to your point, we don't consider us underdogs. We know we're a good team, and we've played well against those teams. Really, all the teams in our division here throughout the season, and we're fully confident in the group that we have. And so, does it add a little extra motivation or chip on the shoulder? Maybe, but maybe not. Just because we know we have a great team, and we're just focused on that first round, taking it a game at a time, and being ready to go when puck drops.
You got one more game to go. Game 72 on Sunday in Greenville. And that game could end up being big, could earn you home ice advantage in round number 1. And we'll have to see, depending on what happens with South Carolina here on Friday and Saturday night. How much of a factor does home ice play, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well?
I think it is going to be important. We've been a really good home team all year. You look at South Carolina, they might be statistically the best home team in the league. So it could play a point, but again, we've won on the road. We've won at home. We're comfortable wherever. It would be nice to get home ice here and get that extra game in front of our fans late in this series especially. But we're confident in our group wherever we play. I think for the last probably month, we're just kind of waiting for playoffs to start. But I think the game Sunday is going to be important regardless of that. We want to be ready to go, and like I said, you don't want to just have to turn it on come playoff time. We want to keep the momentum rolling here and play a really solid 60 minutes that will give our group confidence and some momentum running into the playoffs.
Yeah, and these last couple of weeks in terms of the schedule, I think have been a little bit tough. You're playing some of those teams later on in the season that have a bit of fire in their belly. And we're talking about Orlando, Jacksonville, Greenville. Those are teams that, while they may be out of the playoff picture, they still have got young guys on their roster playing for something, maybe a spot next year. Do you feel like that's kind of helped you in a way to kind of mold you into being ready for round 1? I mean, obviously, you guys have had a great year. You have a great chance to go far. But do you think at this stage in the year, it might be to your benefit to get caught in those hard battles against those really gritty style of teams that are going to push you to your limit?
Yeah, I think when we weren't playing great, there maybe a couple weeks ago, there were a lot of up and down. And really, for the first time all year, I felt like we might have been getting outworked. And so that was nip that in the butt pretty quick. But yeah, I think you kind of touched on it there, that they have a lot of young guys that are coming in with excitement and full of life that haven't played 70 plus games this year. So a little fresher. And I think it is good for us just to kind of get back to our identity and that hard work first mentality there. And I think any game that's high paced and high intensity is going to help us here through the stretch.
5-on-5 this season, you guys have been one of the best teams in the ECHL. When it comes to special teams, it seems like it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Sometimes power plays on point, sometimes it's not. Same thing with the penalty kill. How difficult is it to stay consistent when it comes to special teams, and how much of that do you expect to be a factor in a playoff series against the Stingrays, who are the most penalized team in the ECHL?
Yeah, I think special teams are always going to be important, especially in what we expect to be a tight series. It could be the difference for sure. So we want to be focused on ourselves. We know that you kind of touched on there. Special teams has been up and down. We made some tweaks to the PK. It's probably a couple months ago now, and I think it improved things from then. But it's not all like percentage points that we look at. It's kind of the timely goals or timely kills that are huge. It just goes on the score sheet as a one, either a kill or a goal. And but I think you look last weekend in Jacksonville, even the Orlando game too, we were shorthanded. I don't know. It felt like the entire third periods and overtimes, and guys did a great job killing those off and got a point out of it, and then 2 in Jacksonville. So it's those timely kills or those timely power play goals that are really important going forward. So Vinny talks with the power play all the time about kind of next power play mentality there, where maybe you are 0 for 4 in a game, but you have a late power play in a tie game, like need a goal there or need kind of short-term memory in that sense. So I think he's done a great job with that, and we have full confidence in both our power play and PK here going forward. And you said it's going to be a big part in the series.
He's going back to that Jacksonville game. I think that might have been one of the few games that I have ever been in, or at least watched or called, to where my heart is just racing and just beating out of my chest. I mean, that overtime. I mean, what's going through your mind when you go to a 5-on-3 PK in overtime? I mean, how do you even approach that?
Yeah, I mean, you kill it off. The killers we had did an outstanding job. Hyde's made some big saves for us there, but again, that shows the confidence and the character in our group that we were able to work through that one. I think it was some well-timed adversity for us, where kind of a weird game, back and forth, and then the third period, I think we were short 3 or 4 times, and overtime. A full minute 5-on-3 or full 2-minute 5-on-3, and the guys just bared down. I mean, frustration that game was an all-time high probably for our group, and we've done a good job this year of staying off the refs and focusing on what we can control. And I think the night before against Orlando kind of bled into that a little bit, where guys are frustrated, felt we were. I mean, after the first period, we probably had the puck 98% of the game, and didn't get 2 points out of that, and felt like some calls went against us. But I think we just have to reset in that instance, especially in the playoffs. You can't give teams free power plays, and so we got to keep our cool a little bit and reset in that aspect. And but kind of going back to that game, just found a way, character win, and it's nothing that we haven't known we have in that group all year. Guys, high character, high compete guys that do we toe the edge sometimes? Yeah, for sure. I think every good team does. You want to play with that intensity, and that'll be important in playoffs as well. Keeping our discipline, playing kind of between the whistles, but we know if we need a big killer, a big goal, that our special teams has the ability to come through.
Did that almost feel like a signature win in a way?
A little bit, just because, like I said, I think we dropped a couple in overtime in a row. And this one, you look and short for 2 going into overtime. Might kind of think that those thoughts creep into your head a little bit. But I think guys stuck together, stuck up for each other, and really just gritted one out there. And some good adversity for the group to especially break through, I think, too. Killed it off and did a great job, and then shootouts a coin flip, but had a nice goal and some big saves, and we got through that one.
And so we were just about there. We were just about there to the 2026 postseason, and the NHL playoff slate is set as well. So maybe want to get your pick here. Who do you think is going to the Stanley Cup final, and who you got winning the whole thing?
That's a good question. I would say I think Buffalo is going to come out of the East. And I think Dallas will break through this year, and I think Dallas will win the cup.
No revenge for Buffalo? The foot in the crease? Just
no,
20-some years later?
I think they've done a great job since first maybe month or 2 of the season. They were kind of out of it, and they've been unbelievable since. I just don't know. I don't know if they'll get through Dallas in the West.
I mean, it's so tough to even just look at the bracket and pick. I think I had Tampa and Colorado again.
Those are safe picks.
I think I got Tampa. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to go safe a little bit sometimes, but I mean, that's the beauty of hockey. You really just never know. And so should be fun on the NHL side of things, should be fun on our side of things. And then I know you're a baseball guy as well. The Jays are up and
they're struggling
up and around
right
here,
now,
but
yeah.
You think they can make it back to the World Series? Or
I think so. I mean, they're battling the injury bug right now. I think they have 4 starters and 4 or 5 bats out of the lineup right now. So just trying to hopefully tread water here a little bit and get some guys healthy. But yeah, I think they have a good team, and really an easy team to kind of cheer for last year, especially kind of that gritty, never say die team where they kind of smother you a little bit too. So hopefully we see more of that, and they get back on track here.
Seen some parallels from the Jays to the Glads.
Yeah.
One last question for you. The keys to the game this season have been a lot of fun to watch, because it seems like every single time you give us a slate of keys, they do come into effect. And one of my favorite ones is to just play with jam. What does that mean, and where does that come from?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where I got it from, but it just means like play with life, play play with some energy, a little bit of an edge. So that's really all it means. I should know where I heard it from. It was, I don't know, probably a little while ago, but just playing with some edge, jam, compete, some life. And that's when we're at our best, is we're in guys' faces, we're moving, we're physical. And I think it just kind of all encompassing for those things.
Yeah, I remember you telling me back in the offseason that you wanted to be a tough team to play against, win or lose. You wanted to go right down to the final buzzer and be close in games. And really, that's been the story all season long. So credit to you to getting your group into that mindset and that mentality and having them right there. And as a credit to that, you guys are in the postseason. So best of luck on Sunday in Greenville, and best of luck through the 2026 playoffs. Hopefully this whole thing ends with a parade going right down Satellite Boulevard to Gas South. But Matt, thank you so much for your time here today. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
That will conclude this episode of the Atlanta Gladiators podcast. For more information and for more content, make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, and of course on YouTube as well. As I'm Guy Carenza signing off and thanking you for listening.